Dumb and do it yourself.
How, Sway?
Take a few steps back to go.
You ain't got the answers, man.
Dumb and do it yourself.
How, Sway?
Take a few steps back to go.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
Kanye.
You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers, Sway.
Kanye.
I've been doing this more than you.
Doing what
You
more
ain't
than
got.
me? Come on, chill out.
You
bro.
ain't got the answers.
Kanye,
You ain't got the answers.
I'm asking you.
You
a
ain't been
question.
doing the education,
bro.
You ain't been.
You don't have boyfriends? Are you going to like your whole phase right now?
Yeah,
How's that going?
it's alright.
What about you? You went through your whole phase too?
No, I'm going through my career phase, so I'm a financial advisor. So I don't want a boyfriend.
How'd that make you feel?
I feel like a hoe, like a real hoe. Damn.
You should.
Move the fuck around! Get your fucking the fuck up, shorty! Fuck up, shorty! Man, y'all move fuck around! Come on! Come on! Let me keep you running.
Every day was a struggle to get my boyfriend's attention. Video games, sports, the boys. But that all changed once I found out about Cymbalta. Cymbalta is the first and only FDA-approved medicine specially formulated to promote simping. This is how it works. Cymbalta is a once-daily transrectal supplement designed to enlarge the simp region of the brain. Cymbalta saved my relationship. My boyfriend went from ignoring me to simping for me immediately. He no longer wanted to play video games or hang out with the boys. He had the urge to wake up early, go to farmers markets, and wear cute outfits, just for fun. And the best part is, Cymbalta is 100% safe, so there's nothing to worry about.
Cymbalta is extremely dangerous and not for everyone. Side effects include depression, loss of respect, shrinking testicles, loneliness, hallucinations, and in some cases, death. Call your doctor immediately if you have a simp erection lasting more than 4 hours.
Relationships can be complicated. Simplify yours with Cymbalta.
Don't disrespect me and say I do everything everybody else does. And I put up my own money. All these so-called moguls y'all talking about, you name one of them that put their own dough up. A boss, you're only the boss if you put up your own money. If you don't put up your own money, I don't care how much somebody gives you, you're nothing but a supervisor. It's not yours. So how much money can you get paid to not? There's no money in this world for someone to pay me so they could call me, so I could call them a boss. That's like calling somebody daddy. How can a man call another man, yo, that's my boss? We don't do that.
I mean, everybody at some point has to have a boss, right?
No, not in Harlem. Oh, okay. Put it like this.
Because you're somebody's boss.
No, I'm not somebody's boss. I'm. When I was in the street, someone wasn't your boss. They gave you an opportunity.
Okay.
They gave you some work. You go make it, and then you bring it back. You can go buy your own work. You do whatever you want. It's called consignment.
Yeah. What's going on? Aaron the Mogul back with another live stream. I'm just trying to be consistent at this point, man. So we're going for right now we're going for quantity over quality, right? But just know that every time I do get on the stream, I'm going to make sure I give you guys quality and value. Now, this particular subject, right? I knew it was going to raise, some eyebrows. The question is, do most black people have bad credit, right? And this is a subject that I wanted to talk about because pretty much there's a stigma that people that come from the hood, African Americans, Latinos, that we are financially illiterate. You even hear rappers starting to talk about it in music now, where Jay-Z came out with the song, was more important than throwing money in the strip club credit. And I actually owned a credit repair company for the last last 7 years now. And the main motivation for me starting my credit repair company was because I noticed that there was a problem. Most consumers from my neighborhoods, most people that look like me, they were illiterate when it came to credit. So that's why I wanted to not only do some research with you guys and pull up some statistics, I wanted to also educate, all the people that's watching this right now, because credit is not really that complicated. I tell people, if you can learn Instagram, if you can learn Twitter, all this bull crap that we waste our time and energy on, you can learn credit. Now, I was watching BMF, right? I was watching BMF the other night. It's like a remake of Black Mafia Family. It's on Stars. And this is something that stuck out to me that I feel a lot of black people can relate to. So I want to play this clip for y'all real quick. Give me a second. Let's see. Share screen. Share entire screen. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna play this clip real quick. Oh man! So when I seen that clip, hold on, give me a second. I'm about to this off. And when I seen that clip, it stood out to me because I'm like, wow, like how many of our parents messed our credit up before we even got old enough to use it for ourselves. A lot of us, we had a parent, a grandparent put a cable bill in our name. Me personally, I had my mom use my name for cable bills and stuff like that. Some of my clients, when I talk to them, they're like, yo, I have no idea how this got on my credit. How did it get there? And then they end up finding out that it was actually one of their parents that did it. And that's concerning to me. That's concerning to me because I notice what other races, especially like the Asians, they pretty much try to set their kids up from a young age, so when they turn 18 they have perfect credit. And I seen this in person. I used to work at T-Mobile, where every time I would have, and I know this sounds kind of fucked up, but I'm just telling you what it is. When I worked at T-Mobile, right, when a customer will walk in, right, when it was a black customer, everybody kind of like was dragging their feet because they're like, oh man, they're probably going to fail credit. They're not going to get approved for multiple lines, etc. And then once in a while, you had somebody that was black that walked in that got approved for a high class, right? However, and remember, we worked off commission, so it wasn't, a racist thing. It was a money thing. It's like, yo, I want to get the customer that I have the best opportunity to get a sell from. So when I was working at T-Mobile, I remember Asian customer would come in, right? Asian customer would come in. Not only would the Asian customers have A1 credit, get approved for like 20, 30 lines, they never wanted to finance their phones. They always paid for their phones cash. I never understood it. And then on top of that, they wouldn't even get the plan. They wouldn't even get the plan with unlimited internet. They would get the plan that had like 2 gigs of internet. And they say, oh, no, it's fine. I'm just going to use the Wi-Fi in my house. And I learned from that. I learned how frugal a lot of other races can be. So that's something I'm going to talk about, frugality in the African American community, and how frugality is shunned upon, right? If you're someone that's known as frugal, or you're someone that is known to save money and not squander your money on stupid things, people look at you as cheap. People, think you're broke. And right now, I actually live in the Dominican Republic. And before I was in the Dominican Republic, I also lived in the Philippines. And one thing that I learned living amongst these cultures is that everything is about the family, right? Everything is about the generational wealth. So if a whole family of 10 has to live in one house, so they can pay that mortgage off faster, they are willing to do that. Versus, I noticed in the black community, you know, you have people throwing their kids out at 18 years old. And I noticed that is usually the age, like between like 18 and 22 is where a lot of us make our credit mistakes, because a lot of us, it's not that we want to mess up our credit, is that we're thrown in circumstances that make us do things with our credit that we really don't want to do. Like imagine you letting your child stay with you until they're 25. Of course, you know, I feel like they should get a job, they should contribute to the household, because guys, don't think in these other coaches and these other races that these parents just let their kids stay home and they don't contribute. If they're not contributing financially, they are sweeping floors, mopping floors. They're outside gardening. They're working at the farm. You know, some of the Dominicans and the Filipinos that have chicken farms and they'll have cows and stuff like that. There's no free ride anywhere. So don't use that as an excuse to, I'm gonna enable my daughter or I'm gonna enable my son and let them stay in the house, not contribute to the house at all, and just go out and be financially irresponsible. See, part of making a young adult financially responsible is by giving them responsibilities before they leave the nest. And then what we have to understand is if the parents are buying their homes in the first place, right, and the child gets old enough to work, let's say, for example, you have 3 kids, all 3 kids start working at working age, everyone's contributing to the household, and the household is paid off by let's say when the kids are 25, right? The parents can now leverage the equity. They can now leverage the equity that was built in that property to now assist with their children getting properties. We're using the equity of the parents' property to use as a down payment for the children's property. And guess what? I have white friends and their parents leverage the equity in their houses to pay for their education all the time. Like, I don't want you to think that everybody gets student loans. No, you have some people that were strategic. They bought homes when their kids were young, right? They bought homes when their kids were young, and then they let the home appreciation, they let the fact that they built equity into the property, they then leveraged that to pay for the student loans. Because they're looking at it like, okay, we're going to pay, you know, a mortgage or a rent or whatever for the rest of our lives, so why not include the college tuition in it? Now, really quick, HELOC, exactly, home equity line of credit. Now, I want to pull up some research I did. Give me a second. I'll pull this up. All right. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you some guys' research that I did. All right. Move, stop screen. Share this. Share screen. Window. Okay. All right. So let's go over this, right? Black and Hispanic Americans often have lower credit scores, and here's why they're hit harder, right? Credit scores in the United States aren't working for many Black and Hispanic Americans who typically have lower levels of credit worthiness than other racial groups, and report feeling that the system is stacked against them, right? About 54% of Black Americans report having no credit or a poor to fair credit score, which is considered to be any score below a 640, right? And about 41% of Hispanic Americans fall into the category as well. In contrast, right? 37% of white Americans report having bad credit or no credit. And a little choppy and lagging just a little bit. You know what? I apologize, guys. I'm lagging or it's skipping a little bit. I apologize. I actually just had to upgrade my internet because I am in the Dominican Republic, so sometimes the internet can be a little spotty. So bear with me. I promise I'm going to get to the point. I'm going to educate you guys today. So this is the part I really wanted to get to, right? It says right here that 18% of Asian Americans report the similar credit circumstances, right? So you literally have less than one fifth of Asian Americans reporting having credit issues, right? But then when you go up to African Americans, Black Americans, that number jumped up to 54%. Now, what are some of these reasons, right? Let's see if it goes into detail on why. All right. While the credit system was created to be blind, this data shows that the Black and Hispanic Americans are being fairly shut out of the system, right? Now, I actually disagree with that. Right? I do not feel like Black people are being shut out the system, right? I actually wish I brought it over here with me, but it's in my room. I don't feel like getting up and going to get it. But I have over at least 30 credit cards, right? I have every Amex card there is. I have the Platinum card. I have the Gold card. I have a lot of credit cards. I have like 3 different lines of credit with PayPal. I have business credit, etc. It's not that Black people are, this is my opinion, it's not that Black people are being shut out of the system. I feel like Black people choose to not prioritize credit and financial literacy over other cultures, right? I'm saying this from experience, right? Because of course, I'm African American. I hang out with other African Americans, and I also have, a diverse group of friends. I have Asian friends, I have white friends, etc. And one thing I notice is that the conversations are always different. I notice typically when I'm speaking to brothers that come from the inner city, we have this fake it till you make it type of mentality, right? We have the mentality as long as we look like we're getting money, as long as we look like we're fitting that propaganda we're supposed to fit, that we all got money, none of us are financially struggling, etc. We don't really care if reality or not. Versus, I notice with a lot of other cultures, talking about finances is almost as normal as talking about food, right? So when we're talking about generational wealth, it starts with the credit, right? It starts with the knowledge, right? How much knowledge are you giving your children about credit and financial literacy and how important it is, right? Are you educating your children on why you should live under your means, right? Are we educating our children on not looking like you got it, but actually having it? And I feel like especially with Black men, it's an identity issue too, because a lot of Black men, we look at the rappers, we look at the NBA players. These are the people that we had to look up to growing up, right? Versus in the Asian community, they have different leaders to look up to. So that's another thing that I've seen that's different. The leaders in the Asian community and the leaders in the Black community are completely different. That's primarily the reason why I don't really deify rappers. I do not deify athletes, because here's the thing. Rappers, entertainers, most Black people will never get to that level in life, right? So with that being said, for so many of us to put so much emphasis on becoming rappers or becoming influencers or stuff like that, that makes up a very small population of people that are making, multiple 6 figures and millions of dollars versus, we learn how to buy real estate, right? We learn how to develop real estate. We learn how to get into the logistics business. These are all businesses that I use my credit to get into. I use my credit to get into the logistics business, and I have 18 wheeler trucks. I use my credit to not only buy real estate in America, in Philadelphia, in Delaware, but I've also used my credit to buy real estate in the Dominican Republic. And then when the time comes, I'm actually going to use my credit to buy real estate in Rwanda, right? And this kind of also goes back to that passport bro conversation, where there you have Black men that are traveling to these countries and they are building, but it's not being talked about enough. It's not being talked about enough. See, I feel like what Black people, when it comes to the negative shit, gets so much more attention. But then when you have the black people that are actually, leading from the front, we're out there buying real estate, we're out there getting our credit together, we're out there, obtaining more financial literacy, getting life insurance, etc. Like, I think I just found out that Takeoff, the rapper that just was deceased, he didn't have life insurance, right? And you have all these rappers dying, right? PNB Rock, when he got deleted, his fiance or his baby mom got on live and pretty much said, yo, he didn't have a will, he didn't have any life insurance, and it's like it's normalized. It's like it's normalized to sulk after the fact, right? It's normalized to be disappointed after the fact. So that's why with me, the way I brand myself, the way I market myself, I try to speak to both audiences, right? See, I know, and people ask me like, yo, Aaron, why are you so flashy? Why you take pictures with flashy cars and stuff like that? Because that's how I grab my people's attention. Because I study analytics, right? I see what a majority of African American black millennials look up, they search in Google. They want to learn how to make money fast and easy, and they want to know how to get a luxurious lifestyle without working for it, right? So what I do is I show that stuff. Look, here's a Wraith, here's a Lamb truck, private jets, boom, boom, boom. All this stuff you see celebrities with, right? But guess what? I'm going to show you how to get it in a way that anyone can do. You don't need talent to have a good credit score. You don't need talent to have an Amex card. You don't need talent to buy real estate. You need discipline. You need the I don't give a fuck about what other people think about me mentality. You see, when I honestly stopped giving a fuck what other people had to think about me, I'm gonna be real with you guys. You know what really helped me stop caring about what other people thought about me? Was when I started my credit repair business, right? You guys know how many people I thought were successful, that I thought, were extremely wealthy, came to me for credit repair, and I found out that they had multiple repos, they max out credit cards every month. Like, I found out that a lot of these people who I thought had money, it wasn't legit. So then I'm sitting here, I'm sitting here sweating the opinions of people who really don't even have it. And then, right, when I really did start making money, I realized that most of the people who have money are the ones that you don't see. They're not loud, they're not flashy, and that's what we need to learn as a community. That real wealth is not flashy. Real wealth is not what you can see. You see, when I see an older man, with New Balances and some dad jeans, and an Izod polo, I know he has good credit. I know he has his priority street. But typically, when I see that guy with the Versace, with the Gucci, with all that flashy shit on, 9 times out of 10 his credit is bad, and he's probably a scammer, right? So let's go back to the article, right? Just a second. All right. Debt and savings levels play a role in credit scores. All right, credit scores, which range from 300 to 500, are based on a number of factors, including payment history, number of accounts open, the length of your credit history, the amount that you owe, your age, race, salary, employment history, and where you live are not factored in. While race may not be an explicit factor, the financial situations are common with most Black and Hispanic people do play into credit worthiness. Over half of Black Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, which could affect their payment history and the rate that they use credit. In contrast, about 44% of Americans overall report running out of money before payday, right? So that's another thing, right? African Americans, we earn less. Which is crazy, right? Which is crazy because I should have pulled this up, but there's also a statistic out there that even though I just showed you guys over half of black Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, black Americans buy more Mercedes-Benzes than any other race of people in the world. We buy more Mercedes than Asians. We buy more Mercedes than the Jews, whatever you want to name. We buy more Mercedes. However, we are over half of us are living paycheck to paycheck, and this is not to pull black people down, right? This is not to demonize us, right? This is an intervention. This is a reality check, right? Because if we're not looking at stuff like this, how are we ever going to change? How are we ever going to move forward and start making more intelligent financial decisions if we're not looking at these numbers? You see, one of the reasons I moved to the Dominican Republic, one of the reasons was to lower my living expense so I can have more to invest. And I want you guys to write that down if you can, right? The lower your living expenses are, the more money you had to invest. So fellas, especially from my married men, right? That's why you have to wear the pants in your family, right? And control how the finances are being spent. Because the more money that's going out to the shit that makes you happy, you have to invest later. See, the main reason, right? All right, let me pull this up, right? The main reason, well, Aaron, I don't know how to do real estate. Okay, have you paid for a real estate course? Have you paid for a real estate mentor? Okay, but you paid for college though. You paid $30,000-$40,000 for college, but the guy that you're trying to be like on Instagram, that you stalk all his posts, you can't give him $200 to have a consultation with him to get some information that you didn't know before. See, it's like we're skeptical about the things that we don't need to be skeptical about, and we're not skeptical about the things that we do need to be skeptical about, right? It's crazy, right? You have men that are more skeptical about buying somebody's course, but they're not skeptical about who they make their baby mom. You know what I'm saying? You got men that's, I don't know, man. He might be a scammer, man. He's charging $100 for the information, yet you just spent $100 to take this girl out that you just had sex with no condom, and you trusted that more. You trusted a woman you didn't even know that you met off of Tinder more than the guy that makes content every day on social media. You're skeptical about that. You know what I'm saying? You got dudes buying fake Yeezys. You got dudes buying fake Yeezys, swearing that they real. You know what I'm saying? But they skeptical about buying a course. And here's the thing, right? You do got people out here that are scamming. You do got people out here that's selling bullcrap information. But this is how I look at it, right? If I even learn one thing that I did not know before, right? Because I get a lot of people, oh, yeah, I bought his course and it's information that I already knew. And I'm like, okay, so you didn't learn not one thing? All right, well, yeah, I didn't know about that credit card. Okay, then. So now you have more information than you had before, so that means you're now better than you was yesterday. So now you can make more informed decisions. So let me see what else is talking about in here. Let's see. Poor credit has long-reaching consequences. Having poor credit reaches blah blah blah. Okay, cool. So let's talk more about how bad credit can affect your generational wealth, right? Let me put this down. All right. So I've been fixing credit for about 7 years now, and I got this one client, and she lived in North Philly. She had 3 kids. 3 kids. And her income was okay, but she had really bad credit, and she couldn't, she didn't have the credit to live in a better neighborhood. So long story short, I fixed her credit, and she was able to buy a home in the county, outside of the hood. And I'll never forget, she left me this 5-star review on Google. And she pretty much said that me fixing her credit saved her life. Me fixing her credit saved her life. with that being said, I didn't understand that. So I looked at her name. I called her, and she basically told me that where she was living at, it was a lot of gangs, there was a lot of drugs going on, and she was afraid for her sons that if she did not get out of that neighborhood, that her sons would end up like the boys that be on the corner. Told me when I fixed her credit, she was pretty much able to a house where like the mortgage was almost like a little bit more than what her rent was living in the hood. So she was able to put her kids in a better school district, a safer neighborhood, and she looked at her credit like, yo, this saved my life. And I never thought about that. I never thought about how many boys, right? How many young boys are in bad neighborhoods, getting bad influences only because their mother, right? Most of these mothers are single. Their single mother did not have the financial literacy to get her credit fixed, buy a property and get out of that neighborhood. Because people don't understand that buying a property is not as hard as you think. Most of the time when you look at the rent in the hood, and then you look at what a mortgage in like a county area, the price is not really that much off, right? And then you got to think long term. Your house going up in value. You can sell your house and then use the money from the proceeds from that house to get another house and then get a second one. Now you have a rental property bringing you an income. See, I don't think everyone should be an entrepreneur, but I think everyone should be an investor at some level. At some level, you need an investor because all it is just moving your money around so it lasts as long as possible. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the stream short because I see that my internet connection is not strong and I don't want it to keep buffering. But this was more of a stream I wanted to do to bring awareness. I wanted to bring awareness to how much we don't pay attention to our finances, how much, statistically, like this is not even an opinion. I just showed you guys the numbers of how many African Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, yet we still acting like we got it. How we're deifying these athletes and these celebrities, where we're buying the same designer clothes they're buying. We're buying the same cars that they're buying. However, we're not focusing on that really matter, and that's credit and real estate. I don't care what type of business you do. I don't care if you're a YouTuber. I don't care if you have a credit business. I don't care if you sell hair on the side. I don't care about any of that, right? Everyone should be an investor. You know why? Because everyone has bills. How do you have one source of income, but you have multiple sources of bills? You have to ask yourself this. How many sources of bills do I have, and how many sources do I have? Because if you have multiple sources of bills, you need multiple sources of income. Because guess what? Anything can happen. If you're a YouTuber, right? Your YouTube can disappear tomorrow. What you're going to do? Real estate is always going to be there. And I'm not saying you have to be on this HGTV shit and flip that house every 3 months. I'm not saying that. But even if you buy a property once every 5 years, let's say you buy one property every 5 years, right? You are expected to work a job for 40 years. You're expected to work a job for 40 years. So if you buy a property every 5 years, right? Every 5 years, that's what? That's 8 properties. That's 8 properties you will have by your retirement. Eight properties is bringing you in at least $500 a month per property, right? That's over $3,000 a month. Over $3,000 a month that you got coming to you in retirement. And guess what? You don't like dealing with tenants? You don't like dealing with tenants? Cool. Get a property manager. Break the property manager off 10% of the rent. You're good. I'm gonna finish this on this though. I'm gonna finish this on this note, right? Credit does not mean shit if you're not using it. Just sitting here, I can do that. Let me do that for y'all. I feel like y'all people that have good credit, I feel like this is the only thing that you like to do. I feel like when someone talks about credit, the only thing that you enjoy doing with your credit is doing this. You go on your phone. Hold on, wait for mine to come up. Come on, hurry up. Give me a second. You on your phone, show your credit score for mine to come up. It's taking a little long. But a lot of us, when we have good credit, all we do is talk about it. All we do is show it. Look, I got a 700. Okay, but what are you doing with that? Are you going to banks seeing how much are they willing to give you towards real estate? If you're a YouTuber, are you using your credit to buy better equipment? See, let me tell you something, right? If I wanted to make YouTube my full-time income and I wasn't just doing this for fun and doing this to promote my primary business, right? I will be leveraging my credit to get influencers on my channel to draw more traffic. I will leverage my credit to get better equipment. Shit, if you really wanted to go in, I'll use my credit to make my own studio in my house. But using your credit, do things like, I don't know, buying a bullshit ass car that you're not going to care about. Because that's what a lot of y'all do. A lot of y'all get your credit good just to buy a car. Just a car of in the year. A lot of you just get your credit good, so when you go to Victoria's Secret or Neiman Marcus, or you go to Saks Fifth, you can get approved for that credit card and get 5% off your purchase, right? Give me a second. Oh, I know why. My hotspot shield is on. Give me a second. No, now one thing I do like to do, I always take an opportunity to try to whip my score out, because one thing I can't stand people who talk about credit and they talk about money and they're not showing their receipts. So here you guys go, just so you know that I'm not just talking, like I really live that life. But guess what? My credit score, it goes up and down. It goes up and down. You know why? Because I actually use it. So I want you to take away from this. I want you to, if you have not started already, start working on your credit. What are some things you can do to improve your credit as soon as you get off this live stream? Number one, the most important factor of your credit is payment history. The most important factor of your credit is payment history. That's what I want you to do. I want you to go on your phone. I want you to go on your calendar, and I want you to put reminders for all your credit card bills, and your car notes, mortgage, credit cards. That's what gets reported to the credit bureaus. I want you to put those reminders in your calendar. There is no excuse why you're late on your bills when you have all this technology. Set reminders in your phone for when your bills are due. And don't set it for the day it's actually due. Set it a couple of days before it's due. So just in case you get distracted and you forget, you still got a couple more days. Number two, I don't care if you pay it right off or right away. Stop going over 30% of your credit card limit. Unless you're doing it with business credit. If you're going over 30% of your credit utilization with business credit, that's cool. It's not going to hurt you. But on your personal credit, if you go over 30%, it's going to drop your score. So I just showed you guys a 700 credit score. So my 700 credit score, what I should be doing is I should have an LLC, and I should be applying for credit cards under my LLC name, right? But I use my social security number as the personal guarantor. Because people be like, well, Aaron, how do I build business credit? I don't know how to build it. You don't need to build business credit when your personal credit is already good. Because when your personal credit is already good, you're going to have banks that's going to just give you business credit off the gate. And then you build off of that. Then you use business credit for everything. If you're a YouTuber, you know how many business deductions, how many tax write-offs you can get? Because you can literally turn anything into a business expense. If you're a YouTuber and you go out to eat, YouTube what you're eating. Because now you can write a percentage of that off as a business expense. But you got to make sure you pay for it on that business credit card. So now you're keeping your business and your personal expenses separate. There's only a few bills that I pay for my personal credit card. But most of my bills, because I have an online business and I'm a digital nomad, from the apartments that I live in, from the clothes that I buy, from the food that I eat, can all be tax deductions. That's another reason why you want to have an LLC and you want to have business credit. Because check this out, right? A lot of y'all in this YouTube game that want to make money online, you're not making a lot of money yet. You're right now. You're in the spending phase. You're buying the equipment. You're spending money to get your name out there. Cool. So while you're investing in your YouTube business, why aren't you writing that shit off? Why aren't you writing it off? You could literally create a LLC on behalf of your YouTube channel. I wouldn't name the LLC after your YouTube. I'll make it something like if I had to create an LLC for my YouTube right now, I would make it Aaron Mogul's Entertainment Consulting. It's entertainment consulting, because I'm entertaining on YouTube and I'm also consulting people on what to do while I'm entertaining them. Because when you pick that business category, being a consultant or like an education-based business, you automatically get a higher rank business credit score, right? And you know what I would do? I would start that LLC for your YouTube, right? When you get monetized, all that money that you're getting from being monetized, I'll have it get sent all to that business bank account, right? And then every time you spend money, whether it's on food, whether it's on a camera or a mic, or what if you're traveling? Like, for example, let's say Let Go, right? Let's say Let Go, Mr. Let Go lives in Atlanta, right? If I use my business credit card to pay to fly to Atlanta to see Let Go, and we film content together, that plane ticket that I took to get there, that now becomes a business expense. If I get a rental car or Uber to meet up with Mr. Let Go once I get into Atlanta, that now becomes a business tax write-off. When I get, if me and Let Go get a meal while we're filming this content, that's also a business tax write-off. So let's say your YouTube is not profitable yet, right? However, you're documenting all these expenses that are now losses. They're now losses because your YouTube didn't make any money, but yet you spent a whole bunch of money. Now, if you set up the LLC as an S corp, you can now pass those losses to your personal income. So now if you work a fucking job, you can now subtract your losses from your YouTube business from your personal income, which will then put you in a lower tax bracket, which will then get you more back when you go to file your taxes. And this all starts with credit. You see how I started with credit, and it just took y'all on a ride all the way to, oh my God, now I can write all this shit off of my business taxes. Now I can do this, now I can do that, because that's how important it is. And I will probably say, let's see, what other tip I'll probably give you? Oh, last tip I'm going to give you. If you have a grandparent, an auntie, or someone you just know that is just financially responsible, they're financially responsible and they had credit cards for a little while, ask them to add you on the credit card as an authorized user. As long as that person never had any late payments and they don't go over 30% of their credit card, if they add you as an authorized user on their credit card, you could get a quick 30, 40 points just off of that. How did I do that? I asked my grandma. My grandma, she's on a fixed income. She's not spending any money. But guess what? My grandma had a Capital One credit card for over 15 years. So when I was in my 20s, I was getting credit cards added to my credit that had 15 years of history on it. So if you guys have grandparents, people who are financially responsible around you, start buttering them up and ask to get put as an authorized user, because these are just hacks that help you jump through these things faster. And after traveling around the world, there is no other country, right? There is no other country in this world, not Africa, not Canada, not Europe, that has a credit system like America, where you can literally have perfect credit at 18, fuck it up, fix it, get credit again, fuck it up, fix it, get credit again. Like, that's why, honestly, people say that I'm cocky and I'm arrogant sometimes. I think where that kind of stems from, I literally figured out the secret of fucking money. I literally figured it the fuck out. I figured it out. Wow, if I'm ever fucked up, start an LLC, build the business credit, leverage that to get use that small loan, flip that, pay that back, prove to the bank that I could pay shit back, get a bigger loan, flip that. Like, I figured out the secret of money. If you can figure out how to make a 20 to 30% return on money, you will never be poor if you understand credit. My credit business, profit margins are fucking ridiculous. I use my credit card, I run ads, I get leads. I also then pay my employees with credit cards. Y'all not ready, man. Y'all not ready. Y'all, I can't afford employees. They cost too much. I can't afford y'all fucking YouTubers. I can't afford a video editor to help me edit my videos and scale my YouTube business. Use your fucking credit card. Fiverr.com takes credit card. Upwork.com takes credit card. Don't let because you're broke be the reason why your content is shit. You can leverage your credit. You leverage your credit. You leverage your credit. You're consistent with your content. You're good. And guess what? That's just with YouTube. That goes for e-commerce. Same thing. E-commerce. You order products with credit card. You run ads with credit card. And then when you make the profit, then you pay back the credit card. And you're also traveling for free, because if you're using your credit card for all this shit, now you're getting free flights and free hotels. That's why my life is so good. I don't be paying for half of this shit. Damn, Aaron, how you always fly first class all the time? You must be balling. No, I don't. I got good credit. And I use it to run ads for my online business. And I use those things to upgrade my shit. It's really simple, guys. So listen. I'm gonna work on my internet connection, because I want to make sure next time I do a stream, there's no interruptions. But thank you guys so much for joining me. And if you need help with your credit and you need help, you want to work with me directly, because I'm gonna tell you something, right? I am very passionate about this shit, the credit and building wealth and generational wealth, especially for my people. I'm very fucking passionate, and what you're getting right now is exactly what you're going to get if you book a consultation with me. I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm going to tell you straight up what needs to be done. We're going to figure out what investments you need to get into. Because your job is one investment. You're investing your time, and your job is your first investment, because that's where you're investing your time. See, your job, you're not investing money in a job. You're investing your time in a job. So when you're investing your time in a job and you start making those profits, now what are you investing your money in? Now, some people say, yeah, buy stock, shit like that. Of course. I think you should allocate 10% of your income to something like long term, like a long term S&P 500 back fund. Really, I really think you should just back it up with life insurance, because you can get a whole life policy, a whole life insurance policy, right? That appreciates with the stock market, and then if you get fucked up, you can take a loan against your whole life policy. And then if for any reason you don't pay it back, all it does is subtract away from your death benefit. But honestly, I think the best investments for any African American is these three things. I'm going to end it on this note. The first best investment is your credit. Whether you got to invest money in learning it, you got to invest money in somebody's fixing it, or you got to invest money in both. But credit, that's your number one best investment. Your second best investment is fucking real estate. I'm sorry, real estate, life insurance. I'm gonna tell you why. Do you know how long it will take you to own $1 million in real estate? No, fuck that. You know how long it could take you to own $500,000 in real estate? Like, when I say $500,000 in real estate, I mean with no more. I'm talking about like you own that property free and clear, $500,000. It's hard to do. It takes time. Versus you get a life insurance policy that's worth $500,000. That means you can die fucking tomorrow. And what would have took you 20 years to build up in real estate, your kids get it right then and there. So that's the second thing you should get. Life insurance. Third best investment. I'm telling you, if you invest in these three things, you'll be financially free. Real estate, real estate, real estate. Why? Because you and all the other people you this fucking planet with will always need somewhere to live. God is not making any more land. The land that we have right now is all land that's going to be there. Now, if I'm telling you to go get rich off of real estate, I'm telling you to go on HGTV and flip that house and all that, absolutely not, because it's not for everybody. But everybody can do, buy one house. You can either live in it and house hack it. You live in one part, you rent out the other. It all depends. If you have a family, right, and renting rooms out and doing house hacking is really realistic. You can rent one house. You can rent one house for your family and then own a house that you rent out to help supplement the rent that you're paying for your family. And then as you build equity in your houses, like I said, every 5 years, you're saving your money, you're building your credit. Every 5 years, you buy another property, you buy another one. And if you really don't want to deal with any headaches, buy properties that are already fixed up, plug and plays. They're called plug and play properties. You buy them, they're already fixed up, they're ready to be rented out. Now, you're not going to make as much profit on them, but you're going to have less headache. So listen, guys. Do those things, and I promise we're going to change these numbers that I showed you over here about African Americans living paycheck to paycheck. Over 50% of us, and over 50% of us having bad credit. I guarantee you we'll end that generational curse. So that being said, guys, I am out, but make sure you visit PhillyCreditMechanic.com to book a one-on-one call with the GOAT, Aaron the Mogul. I'm out.